When a couple decide to say I do and to love one another until death do them part, it's not expected that death will come a mere 2 months after the wedding, or that the suspect will be apprehended at the victim's funeral after giving the performance of a lifetime. Hi guys, I'm Dogozo and this is True Crime After Dark, which, as the name suggests, is a true crime channel. Before we begin, please note that all information that is presented on this channel has been gathered from publicly available sources. All views that are expressed on this channel constitute my own opinion and should not be relied on for any purpose. The aim of these videos is to inform and to see what lessons we can learn from the case that is being discussed. Now, lower the blinds, lock the doors, and let's find out what happened after dark. This week, we'll be discussing the case of Banele Skosana. Constable Banele Skosana was an Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police officer. Metro police officers, as they are known, are responsible for traffic policing, bylaw enforcement, as well as crime prevention. Banele lived in the area of Guatema, which is a township that is located in the district of Ekurhuleni in Gauteng. He worked in the OR Tambo International Airport. At some stage, he met and entered into a relationship with a woman by the name of Sbongile Dlamini. So the couple was in a relationship for a period of about 5 years. They then decided that they should get married. So the couple had a child together. So the child that they had together was a son. So when the couple decided that they should get married, the relationship was finalized and formalized on the 30th of November 2024, when Banele paid the last of the lobola to Sbongile's family. And this basically was, celebrated by both sides of the family as well as friends of the pair. So Banele was described by a friend as somebody that was very calm, very quiet, but also somebody that the family could go to when they needed help in a crisis, and somebody that knew when to make a joke, to ease the tension. So from the research, I got the sense of a person that was quiet, somebody that would not say much, but that was also a source of strength for the family and somebody that they relied on when there was a crisis. Sbongile Dlamini is a 43-year-old former teacher who, it is said, left her employment in order to take care of one of her children who has special needs. It has since emerged that this child is actually in the care of its grandparents, so it's unclear as to why she left her former employment. Now, Sbongile has been married previously, and it is alleged that her previous husband died as a result of poisoning. While Sbongile and Banele's relationship was presented to the world as one that was a romantic one, the truth about the relationship, as has been alleged by his family members, is that it was one that was plagued by violence and toxicity. Cindy, who is a sister of Banele and the family spokesperson, indicated that her brother had actually come to her and complained that he had suffered both verbal and physical violence at the hands of Sbongile. I think here it's very important for us to step away from the timeline and to discuss something which is very important that emerges from this case. I think that when we discuss DV, or when we think about DV in South Africa or even the world over, we typically think about it in relation to one gender, and that is females or women. So I think that we need to realize that when it comes to DV, it is something that can be experienced by men, women, and people of any other gender. So it's very difficult to know what happens in a relationship between two people, especially behind closed doors. And I think that this is a case that highlights that phenomenon. It's a case that highlights that, it's very difficult to know, no matter what outward presentation people, show the world as, being the face of their relationship, what is actually going on behind closed doors. So I think if we take a look at the, circumstances and the facts that, were occurring in this case, and we also consider a specific factor in this case, it leads me to believe the allegations of DV in this case. So the factor that I, am talking about is that of the age gap between the parties that were involved in this case. So if we look at Banele, he was in his early 30s. He was 32 or 33, as the sources indicate, while Sbongile was 43. So there would have been about a 10-year age gap between them. So what this may have introduced into the relationship was that it may have given Sbongile some sort of dominance over her partner, irrespective of his gender. And what that dominance may have allowed or enabled is there to be violence perpetrated against her partner, and that violence may have led to murder. In January 2025, it's alleged that the first of Sbongile's attempts on Banele's life was made. So the couple had a tumultuous relationship, as I've already described. And so during this time, Sbongile was not living in the marital home. She had been kicked out because the couple was fighting, but she decided to return to the marital home, and she brought with her a peace offering in the form of the takeout order of KFC. So when she gave this meal to her husband, he soon thereafter started complaining of severe stomach cramps. Now, these stomach cramps were so severe that he attempted to drive himself to the hospital. So when he eventually made it to the hospital, he was admitted for a period of 2 weeks and treated for food poisoning. He was placed on leave from his job as a Metro police officer during this time in order for him to recover. Now, again, Sbongile was then kicked out of the marital home because it's my view that she was suspected to be the culprit behind the, incident. And in this time, or when this incident occurred, she actually alleged that her child had also eaten the tainted food, but it's indicated that this is actually not the case. Now, the second of the attempts on Banele's life would occur on the 7th of February 2025. So this was when he was opening a tuck shop or spaza shop that the couple owned and operated in Vilagazi Street, which was located in Guatemala. So members of the community as well as Banele were offloading stock that was to be used or sold to customers during the day. And this actually gave two individuals the opportunity to approach Banele and to shoot him in the back. So once they did this, they fled the scene. Paramedics were called in an attempt to render aid for Banele, but unfortunately, the injuries that he had sustained proved to be fatal. A murder case was registered at the Guatemala South African Police Service. So CCTV footage was found, and this assisted police in identifying a suspect. So the Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department, as well as the Gauteng Highway Patrol, also became involved in the case, and they assisted the police in tracking down the suspect. And this was a person by the name of Klizio Zabantu Magwanyane. On the 10th of February 2025, police tracked down the suspect to a hostel at Guatemala, and when he was tracked down, he immediately confessed to the crime. He even pointed out the murder weapon, which was tucked underneath his pillow, but he then revealed a bombshell. He was not the one that had committed this offense out of his own free will. Rather, this offense had been commissioned by the last person anybody would have expected to commission such an offense. So, on the 14th of February 2025, the Skosana family was preparing for the funeral of Banele Skosana. So this would have been, as you can imagine, a very trying time for a newly widowed woman. So, Sbongile would have been experiencing a very difficult time. So Cindy, Banele's sister, had the following to say. She said about Sbongile: "She cried when everyone entered the room to pass their condolences. I was among those who comforted her as she was crying. And boy, did she cry. Looking back at how much weeping she did, especially in light of the charges that she would subsequently face. It really just has me confused. But that's exactly what happened, because Sbongile sat there on the customary mattress that is reserved for the bereaved, with a candle burning next to her, surrounded by the Skosana family elders, weeping for her departed husband, while the police approached the house and asked if they could speak to her and if she could come with them to the station to make a statement. So when she exited the house, she was told that that statement was actually the fact that she was under arrest in connection with the murder of her husband, Banele Skosana. And her response was to laugh and to say, "Utla bareng," which means hear what they say. Police were happy to hear what she had to say at the station, where they took her in cuffs because she was arrested that day on the 14th, the day before Banele's funeral, and she was not to attend the service of her husband, who she had wept so dramatically for. Constable Banele Skosana was laid to rest at the Faith Mission Church in Guatemala on the 15th of February 2025. The service was attended by former colleagues, family members, as well as members of the community who, as you can imagine, were all reeling from the revelation that his own wife was allegedly involved in his death. Sbongile confessed to being involved in the plot to murder her husband. However, during bail proceedings, she alleged that the confession had been coerced out of her. So, she said that during her time when she was arrested, the following occurred. She said that police forced her to strip down, to wear a nappy or diaper, and that they covered her head with an evidence bag. She said that one police officer sat on her chest, suffocating her, and that they repeatedly slapped her. So this would have been in an effort to obviously coerce the confession from her. On the 4th of March 2025, Warrant Officer Nkonyane appeared before the court, and he testified that the confession that she gave was not coerced from her. Sbongile alleges that she knew Tlizio Zabantu by another name, and that the only reason she had contact with him was for business purposes. So she was in contact with him for the purposes of purchasing a display fridge for the tuck shop that she operated together with Banele. She alleges that the true culprits for the murder of her husband are foreign spaza shop owners who had recently been evicted from the Guatemala area. So Sbongile and Tlizio Zabantu have been charged with conspiracy to commit murder and murder. The case is currently making its way through the courts. Police are also hot on the trail of an alleged middleman who brokered the murder as well as the second suspect that was on the scene when the shooting occurred. I'll do my best to keep you guys updated on any new developments in this case as it makes its way through the courts. So keep an eye out on my socials. So that would be True Crime After Dark SA on Instagram, Ndogozo Majola on TikTok, and the shorts here on YouTube. So that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching. If you took something from today's video, give it a like. Comment below if you have anything to say on the topics covered in today's video. Subscribe if you're new. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time after dark.